So this is from Jamie Henn, and this is day 4 of the People versus Fossil Fuels, and they're really trying to get that hashtag going for folks in the audience. So just so you know, 130 more, from earlier in this week, arrested at the White House. 50 Indigenous leaders occupy Bureau of Indian Affairs. Demonstrators will march to the Capitol on Friday. So go ahead and show those images, and then we'll do the press release, Colin. The solidarity, I think, is really inspiring and important. It's great to see. So with this press release, 130 more arrested at the White House, 50 plus Indigenous leaders. It's the same as the tweet for the headline. So the press release says 530 people have been arrested for civil disobedience at the White House since demonstrations began on Monday. And let me give some context for those who haven't been to the White House lately. It used to be the case that there's a like a black pointy fence. It's very tall, but it's not, to the sky tall in front of the White House. And you used to be able to go right up to that and kind of see what's going on or whatever. It's all the way across the lawn, but that's what you could do. In recent times, because of the Black Lives Matter protests when George Floyd was murdered, etc., it's been pushed back. Like you can't get anywhere near the White House at this point. I'm not astonished, but I wish it were the case that I could be astonished that so many people have been arrested for protesting in front of the White House. Like that is an American thing. There have been protests in front of the White House since it's existed. This one just shows that the kind of cop response to Indigenous folks and allies. It's just incredible. So as the outside support at the DOI building chanted and sang their support to the Indigenous leaders occupying the BIA, Metro Police created bicycle barricades and brought out their canine units to try to subdue the already peaceful assembly. And that is what the cops do, particularly in DC. They try to take peaceful actions and escalate them, which I know happens around the country. And then, Colin, the fight, the People versus Fossil Fuels clip. So this is the actual group that's organizing this next clip, and they were kind enough to give us permission to share their work, to share this clip of Indigenous people occupying during a sit-in in the Bureau of Indian Affairs. The look on this Indigenous woman's face, being arrested.
She looks very violent. I'm sure she was causing a
Oh
ton
yeah,
of trouble, and that
totally,
arrest was totally necessary.
absolutely necessary. Can't you see she's just so selfish and horrible, fighting for water and land for other people. Oh
Well,
man.
Joey Peltier, I believe is how you say his name. He's
Mm-hmm.
up in Minnesota, and he's part of Honor of the Earth. He's been on my show before, and
Mm.
he DM'd me I believe he got arrested on Monday.
Okay.
But he DM'd me on Twitter, shortly after his arrest. I guess they didn't hold him for very long, and I didn't get a ton of details from him because he was kind of in the middle of a lot of stuff. But he did tell me like he's okay. So, and he said they're not going anywhere. So
Oh, that's really good
yeah,
to hear.
yeah.
Ugh, this is horrible. Colin, now if you can play the clip of activists arrested in the police van. This is from today. Some more Indigenous folks getting arrested, and they're actually in the back of the van.
And I'm very nervous.
What? The heat is on.
I can't feel my phone.
All right, we're live.
All right. Hi everyone that's watching. We're here right now. We're locked up. The heat is on in here. It's hot. You have a bunch of people on here. There's a female on the other side saying that her thumb, she can't feel her thumb. It's getting tingly. They even threatened to use excessive force to hurt someone to get them in here. A woman. So she's crying right now. She said she was getting excited. She's having anxiety because she can't feel her thumb, and it's numb right now. And the heat is on. They're trying to say they put the AC on, but the heat's on. It's hot in here. We're sliding around in here.
Bonjour.
What's up?
Yo. Come join us. It's not too late. Get out your motherfucking seats and hit the streets. We wish.
Wow. The continued spirit of those folks who are in awful conditions in the back of that police vehicle. I think it's inspiring. It's also, it brings tears to my eyes. Why is this happening?
Well, it's so frustrating to see. I mean, even just going beyond these actions this week, to see. I mean, think about the younger generations who have spent their childhoods, just trying to fight to make sure that they have a planet to live on.
Yeah.
And they're being told by, let's be honest, people who are going to be dead and gone before it gets really bad. They're being told by the likes of Dianne Feinstein and Joe Biden to just shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And these indigenous people who are just asking for lay off the water supply. And by the way, it doesn't just affect the indigenous people who live there. I mean, these pipelines go over the water tables of like a huge portion of the nation's water supply.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys report on water issues a lot. So it's like, this is a serious, significant thing. And we have an administration that is doing pretty much nothing. We had an administration before that did worse than nothing because they made things. I mean, basically, it's like you see the same thing. You see Republicans make it way easier for oil and gas to do their thing. And then Democrats don't make it any more difficult and maybe do a few gestural things. And that's about it. I mean, you saw Biden, he did a couple gestural things. They got knocked down in court. Like, oh, well, I guess we're done here.
Right.
He did stop Keystone XL, which that was good. But again, I mean, that was like the bare minimum. Everyone's looking at him. He didn't have a choice. And Justin Trudeau's trying to talk him out of that, and he'll probably succeed at some point. So, I mean, I take a little bit of solace in knowing that climate change is an issue that we are facing as one world, because other parts of the world are moving forward. And if we keep protesting and we keep striking and we keep, just getting out in the streets, eventually the US is going to have to go along with other places in the world that are actually doing something. The Denmarks of the world, the Norways of the world. I mean, even China is doing more than we are. I mean, China's a big polluter. That's why I say even China, because they are a big polluter. But they're at least like making these legit green efforts compared to us. I mean, we're doing nothing.
Yeah.
And we are the biggest polluter in the world because we're running the war machine, which is the biggest polluter in the freaking world.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's really discouraging to see, but it's encouraging that there are so many people who are just saying we're not going to take this anymore. And it's been going on around the world. I mean, simultaneously, while this was going on out in the UK, they erected a statue of Boris Johnson covered in oil because of some drilling he wants to do. So